What's going on, guys? Got another comic book haul for you. I picked up these first few books at a local convention here in Louisville about 2 weeks ago. They didn't advertise the convention very much. I just heard about it, I think the day before. They were just having it on a Saturday at a local conference center attached to one of the hotels. There was not very many vendors there, maybe 20 or so vendors, lots of toys. There was a couple of comic vendors. Most of the stuff was overpriced, though. Lots of wall books and Silver Age stuff. Not too much modern stuff they had, and there was only one vendor with dollar boxes and 50-cent boxes, so he's the only one I bought from. I only picked up a few things from him. This first one is called Guillotine, the Robot Ronin. I had no idea what this was about. I just saw it. The cover caught my eye, so I snagged it. This one was one of the 50-cent books, so not losing much. It's not worth anything. This was the only issue in the run. This is from the late 80s, I think. The guy that drew it, his name is Paul Martin. I did a little bit of research on him. He hasn't really done anything since. He did some indie work in the 80s on this book. And there's another one called Omen that looks interesting. There's a little 3-issue series of that. I might try to track down now. Art is really good on the inside. It's all black and white. The story's about this guy. He's Guillotine. He's an accountant who has his brain stolen from him by a, I guess, military research company. And they put the brain into the robot, of course, because that's what you did in the 80s. And then this guy, that's Lance. That's his name, Lance. There was no backstory on him. He's just one of the military company's, I guess, henchmen or main enforcer. So when Guillotine escapes, they send Lance to get him. And boy, is there a throwdown between Lance and Guillotine, the accountant. So I don't know. It was pretty goofy, but for 50 cents, it was well worth it. Next book, we've got Daredevil 238. This is early Sabretooth appearance, where he is in his poodle costume, so I like to call it. He's got the fluffy arms and the fluffy legs, and kind of looks like he's wearing a fur coat. Art's not the greatest, and it certainly is not the Sabretooth that I remember from my childhood. He doesn't really get that look that I like until the early Jim Lee stuff, and the early X-Men Volume 2, I guess. And the Wolverine stuff, I guess, when Silvestri was drawing him, he looks more intimidating than a poodle, I guess. So I guess that's not a high bar. But anyway, this one was 50 cents as well. This one can go for about $10 or so. So I'll hold on to it though. Next, got Amazing Spider-Man. This is 342. This is from the Eric Larson run. Just anything Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane from the ASM run, I'm going to pick up when I find it for cheap. So I was happy to find that. This was in the dollar bin, I think. And then the last book from the con is this Uncanny X-Men 275. This is the second print. It's got the gold. I can't really see it too well, but it's kind of a shiny gold trade dress. And this is a huge gatefold cover. The front and back both fold out, so you can see. Pretty cool Jim Lee gatefold. This was before X-Men 1, obviously, when he did the connecting covers. So this was kind of a precursor to that, I guess. But it's really cool. The second print goes for a little bit more than the first print, but you can find these in dollar bins everywhere too. There were a ton of these, so I'm going to keep that one in the collection. I think I might have just recently picked up the first print. I think I actually had the second print before the first print, but, And speaking of second prints, we've got X-Men 248. Now, the rest of these books I picked up at the Comic Vault in Radcliff, Kentucky. I've done a couple of hauls from them before. They always have pretty good sales. This one was, again, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? The beginning of December, I think. They were doing everything $5 and under was $1. Anything marked $5 and under was $1. Anything marked $10 and under was $2. So most everything I picked up was $1. These first two were $2 each. So it's kind of funny. So I picked up the second print, and the price on that was $7.25. And I picked up the first print, and the price on that was $6.25. So when I took them up to the register when I was checking out, the guy that owns the place, he's been, I guess, in jail for the last year and a half or so. So his family has kind of been running the store in his absence, and they're the ones that always put on these big sales, trying to clear out inventory and stuff, because he has tons of comics and a small store, and what he has out for sale is probably about 20% of his total inventory. So they were trying to clear out inventory for him and probably raise money for him, so he had something, a little nest egg to come out when he came out of jail. So I think they ran the store for him for about a year and a half with all these sales, but he was back at this most recent sale. When I took these up to the register, he was very very upset with his family, because he's like, "These are $20 books, man. What are you doing? These aren't the right prices." But he broke out the Overstreet and looked them up and everything. He's like, "Yeah, this one's a $20 book. I'm not going to mark it back up though. I'll give it to you for $2." So true to his word, he honored the sale prices and everything. So that was good. I would have just, if he was going to mark them up, I wasn't going to pay that obviously. But for $2 for the first print and $2 for the second print, I'll pick them up. I've got a copy of this one, the first print already. It's in better shape than this one. This one's got a few spine ticks on it, so I'll probably try to sell this one. But I'll keep that second print as well. Alright, and next, got one more X-Men book. This is 214. This is, who did the pencils on that? It might be Silvestri, or it might be our Adams. I don't see a signature anywhere on that. But this is the early 200s. It's about when I started collecting X-Men. Maybe a little before that, or what was this, 86? Yeah, so a little after this is when I started collecting, but I'm trying to get all these early Silvestri run and Art Adams. They kind of switched back and forth during that time, so I'm not sure who this is, but it's a pretty cool Storm cover. And this one was only $1, so why not? I picked up Spawn 281. This was an interesting painted cover with this weird angel lady holding some dude's head in her no-no spot, so that was kind of funny. Early Spawn, number 69, with the Capullo and McFarlane cover. It's got Sam and Twitch on there, carrying Spawn off somewhere safe, hopefully. Next, got Married with Children 2099, number 1. Now this says $5 on wall, so I guess he wanted this one on the wall, but it was not. This was in the back issues bin. So I got this one for $1 too. And a couple videos ago I showed the number 3 from this run. It was the Star Wars homage. So number 1 is this Terminator homage, Terminator 1, I guess, yeah. I can't remember what the poster was for T2, but probably not. I think it was him with Arnold and the half-face cyborg, half-man face. I don't know. This is probably from T1, just because it's got the sunglasses on. It's got Al with the gun. It looks like a cork in the gun, so it's pretty funny. I think number 2 is a Back to the Future homage, so I'll keep an eye out for that. There's only 3 of these Married with Children 2099, so I'll get this complete run filled out soon, hopefully. Let's see. Next, we've got Mad Balls number 1. Now, this is not the Mad Balls from the 80s. There was a run, the Mad Balls comics in the 80s, but this is one from either the early 2000s or 2010s. So this is much more recent. But Mad Balls were those fun toys with the weird, designs, Cyclops dude, and then, kind of gross out toys in the realm of Garbage Pail Kids, I guess. But these you could actually throw at each other, and I can't remember if they actually squirted stuff out of them or not. Maybe, I want to think or I want to say some of them you could like squeeze underwater and they would suck up water, and then you can kind of squirt them in each other. I may be making that up though, I'm not sure. But I just like the art style on this, so I grabbed that. This one is Eros Psyche #2. I picked this one up because it's a Pulp Fiction homage, obviously, and I couldn't remember if this one was worth anything or not. It's not worth more than like cover price, like $4 or something. But you know, Pulp Fiction's one of the iconic movies from the 90s, so I'm surprised there aren't more Pulp Fiction homage covers, but here's one that I grabbed. Animaniacs, they actually did a Pulp Fiction homage cover in one of their issues. I haven't been able to find that one yet, but this one is the Animaniacs #8, and then also got Animaniacs #14. So I'll pick these up anytime I can for cheap. Love Animaniacs. Alright, next we got Dynamite #3, and the Charlie Brown Christmas bloody cover, Great Pumpkin, the bloody Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I don't know. These Dynamite ones are kind of funny. I have there's a Dr. Seuss one too that got a little heat. I don't know, earlier last year, when Dr. Seuss was being canceled. So this one's not worth anything, but I just kind of like the image of Charlie Brown and being a little gory with, I'm not sure who that is, missing his arm with the boomerang in his head. It might be Pigpen or Linus or somebody, but it's pretty funny. This next book is Dead or Alive, a cyberpunk western. I picked up #2 and #3. I've never heard of these before, but I really like the art style. It kind of reminds me of Twisted Metal, an old PlayStation game from the 90s. The art style kind of is reminiscent of that for some reason. And I like cyberpunks. I generally like westerns, so this one's got clowns in it too, so can't beat that. Sounds like a awesome combination to me. This is a 4-issue miniseries, it looks like, and I got 2 and 3, so I need 1 and 4 to fill that out. So I'll read those when I get them all completed. Next, picked up a little run of, Comics and Stories 2 and 3. These are some Tex Avery inspired books. We've got Tex Avery's Screwball Squirrel and Bad Luck Blackie. So just more cartoon books. Tex Avery, probably most famous for Droopy. That's probably his most famous character. That's how I know him. I watched Droopy when I was a kid. He was pretty funny cartoon doggy. So these are pretty cool looking. There's a 4-issue miniseries. That's 2 and 3, and then I got #1 too. This is Wolf and Red. I also remember those characters from cartoons. I guess Tex Avery, he was kind of a contemporary of Walt Disney. Obviously, his stuff was a little more risque and aimed more at adults than the typical Disney stuff. So I actually went down a bit of a YouTube rabbit hole on him. There's a couple of good compilations of old Tex Avery cartoons and a little documentary on there about him. Apparently he was a lineal descendant of either Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett, one of those old pioneer guys. So I thought that was pretty funny. So I was happy to find those. Again, 1, 3, and 2. So there's just one more I need to find for that. Last couple books here. We've got, what is this? CFD's Pinup Bad Girls. So this is just a calendar, basically. Some indie art. I wasn't sure what was in here, but these pinup art I pick up sometimes just because they have some early creator works in there. Let's see, I'm trying to find my birthday month. My birthday is in October, so there's my calendar. You see, it's got a little calendar down there. And artwork. So this was my birthday is October 5th, so it was on a Saturday that year. This was 1995, I think, 1996. Yeah, so there's the inside. It's got the creators over here. But once I got it home and opened it up, I didn't really recognize any of the creators, so that was kind of a bummer. But, you know, it's kind of a cool timepiece of, you know, calendar with some weird pinup art. And let's see, these last two books, we got Buck Godot Zap Gun for Hire #7 and Buck Godot Zap Gun for Hire #8. And these were Studio Foglio. So Phil Foglio was an artist who came to my attention. I talked about him before from Magic the Gathering. He has a very distinct art style, and I didn't know he did comic book art until I got back into comics last year. And I saw him on it was some adult comic called XXX Xenophile, which was pretty graphic. These are less graphic than that. This Buck Godot series ran for I think 8 might be the last issue, or it might be 9. It was a pretty short run, but it's very easy to tell Phil Foglio's art style, and he draws a lot with his wife, Kaja Foglio. He does most of the writing, I think, when they work together, and they both do illustrations. They do the pencils and the inks for most of their work when they do work together. So just kind of a fun series. I haven't started reading this yet. I was going to put it all together and then go through it, but definitely happy to find these for $1 each. So that will do it for this one, guys. I'm recording this on January 2nd, so I hope you guys had a safe and happy New Year, and I will see you soon.